Welcome back, everyone, to AI Explained, where we like to, really get into some of the big questions surrounding artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And today we've got a really, really fascinating one.
Absolutely. And it's one that I think is going to be on a lot of people's minds going forward, and that is the intersection of AI with copyright law.
Yeah, particularly focusing on music today,
Yes.
which I think a lot of people can relate to. And it's interesting that this whole thing is kind of coming to a head right now because of, none other than a Beatle,
Yeah.
Paul
Paul
McCartney.
McCartney bringing it to the forefront.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big deal, I think, and we should probably jump into it right away.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Paul McCartney is calling on the UK government
Right.
to step in and protect artists from AI.
Yeah, he doesn't want AI to,
Yeah.
take away from
Your livelihoods.
from him.
He's concerned about the impact on artists' rights and how they make a living. And it's particularly interesting because there are proposed changes to UK copyright law that would allow tech companies to use online content
For AI training.
for AI training without needing explicit permission from the copyright holders.
So wait. So right now they need permission, but the law, if it goes through,
If it changes,
they wouldn't need it anymore?
correct.
So they can just take, like all of Drake's music or something.
Potentially,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, that's the concern.
And not even have to pay him or tell him?
Well, they wouldn't have to ask his permission, so.
Wow. That's a pretty big change, isn't it?
It is a significant change, and I think, you bring up a good point, thinking about younger artists
Right, like people are just starting out.
starting out and they're putting their music online to try to get noticed.
And then all of a sudden some company is using it to train their AI.
Exactly. And this is a point that Paul McCartney really hit on. He's interviewed recently by the BBC, and he said, and I quote, "You get young guys, girls coming up, and they write a beautiful song, and they don't own it, and they don't have anything to do with it, and anyone who wants can just rip it off."
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty powerful
Yeah.
coming from him. I mean, he's obviously been there and done that, and he's, been very successful.
Absolutely. And I think he sees this as a potential threat to
For that whole system, yeah.
that whole system.
That makes sense, I guess. But what about the other side of the coin, right? Because we always hear about the potential, you know, dangers or threats of
Yeah.
AI.
Right.
But couldn't it also be a tool to like help musicians
Absolutely.
or even create new kinds of music that we've never even need before?
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to remember is that AI has the potential to be a powerful tool for artistic expression.
So like what kinds of things are we talking about here?
Well, imagine, for example, using AI to help you break through writer's block,
Oh, that's interesting.
or to explore new genres, or even to create personalized music for individual listeners.
Like tailor-made music.
Exactly. And there are already some really fascinating examples of this out there. Google's Magenta project, for instance, is developing AI models that can generate original melodies
Oh, wow.
and even mimic a musician's style.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, it's not all doom and gloom.
Right, but I guess the question is, like if we do have an AI that's creating music and it's using all this copyrighted material, like who actually owns that music?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that I don't think anyone has a definitive answer to yet.
Yeah, it's kind of like a legal gray area.
Yeah, it really touches on this concept of fair use, which has always been a bit of a gray area, especially in the digital age.
Right, like how much can you be inspired by something before it becomes like you're stealing it?
Exactly. And AI just adds another layer of complexity to this whole debate.
So are there like any solutions being proposed or discussed right now?
Yeah, there are a few ideas being floated around. One approach could be to develop licensing frameworks specifically for AI training data.
Okay, so kind of like how you have to pay to use a song in a movie or something.
Similar, yeah. This would allow artists to opt in and receive compensation when their work is used to train AI models.
That seems fair, I guess.
Another approach could be to create a system of micropayments, where artists receive a small royalty every time an AI generates a piece of music that's derived from their work.
Oh, that's interesting, like every time it gets streamed or something.
Potentially.
Okay, so it sounds like there are some potential ways forward, but it's still pretty early days.
Definitely. We're still very much in the early stages of figuring all of this out.
Yeah, so for our listeners out there, I guess the question we want to leave you with is, what do you think?
Right.
Do artists have a right to control how their work is used in AI development?
Or should we embrace the potential of AI to push the boundaries of music creation, even if it means kind of blurring the lines of traditional ownership?
Yeah, it's a big question, and it's
Yeah.
one that we're all going to have to grapple with as AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to remember that this isn't just about the music industry.
Right, it's about creativity in general.
Exactly. It's about the future of creativity itself.
Yeah.
How do we want AI to interact with human artistry?
Do we want it to be like a partner, a tool, a competitor? I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless.
They really are. And it's something that I think we all need to be thinking about.
Well, this has been another really interesting deep dive. I've
Absolutely.
always learned so much from doing these.
Likewise.
So thank you to everyone for listening, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of AI Explained.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.